As we go into the bye week, 5-5, not going to be a whole lot happening. So we're going to be talking a lot this week about guys that we should pay, about guys that we might need to go after, to try to make some sort of late season run. And I think it's fitting that we start with Kenny Moore. And for Kenny Moore, you look at it, he signed a 4-year extension in 2019 for an average of $8.3 million per year. And going into this offseason, he's going to be a free agent. But he also said on Zaire Franklin's podcast, The Trenches Show,
I love Shane, Coach Shane.
He loves Coach Shane. He's buying in. He wants everybody to buy in. And Colts fans love him. So it just makes sense for him to sign a new contract. But the reason we're sitting here talking about it is because it hasn't happened. And this season's almost over. He's been looking for a new contract since going into last year. And at this point, he still hasn't had it, right? And he had a down year last year. He was a Pro Bowler in 2021. Probably should have been a Pro Bowler before that. Probably should have been an All-Pro at some point. And if you look at his numbers for this year, he's allowing 8.4 yards per completion and a 70.8 passer rating. And I know going into the game against the Patriots, he was allowing the lowest passer rating in the entire NFL in single coverage through the first 9 games. And that right there, he's come on this year as somebody who is a true game changer, right? He's not perfect in the NFL. No corner is going to be perfect. Everybody gets got at some point, right? New age NFL. But Kenny Moore has been ridiculously good. Okay, so then you got to start looking at, how old is Kenny Moore? Kenny Moore right now is 28. Next year, he'll be 29 years old. If we're looking at corners that are the same age, right around the same age as Kenny when they signed their deal, and a couple of them here are Dolphins, right? Xavier Howard, when he signed his 5-year, $90 million deal, he was 28 years old, and that's $18 million a year. Jalen Ramsey, 28 years old, signed a 3-year, $55 million deal for $18.33 million a year. So both those guys making $18 million a year, right around Kenny's age. The question is, would you put Kenny in that category? Like, what does the value of the slot cornerback do for you, right? That's mostly what he does, but he's been playing outside corner and he's been good when he has to play that outside corner, right? And then you go beyond that, he is amazing in the run game. So everything that he does, both as a leader, as a player, as a person, what he does for the community, what is that valued at? Is it valued at $18 million like it is for these guys, right? Or is it more valued like a Darius Slay, who was 31 years old when he signed a 3-year, $42 million contract? That's $14 million a year. And I feel like that's a number where a lot of people are going to say, yeah, that's probably about Kenny's range, is probably right around there. Like the top corner in the league, Denzel Ward, out here making $20.1 million a year. Marshawn Lattimore, 19.5. Marlon Humphrey, 19.5. Trayvon Diggs, 19.4. But all these guys were 24 or 25 years old when they signed those deals. And all those guys are playing outside primarily, right? Because that's generally where the best receivers play, is on the outside. So it makes sense that these guys make more money. But again, in the run game, you're asking slot corners to do more, and they're covering more of those shorter but speedy guys, right? They have to be able to cover more ground and do more from that slot position while also taking on the running back and taking on blockers coming at them while they're there in the slot. So for me, I feel like the slot guys are equally as valuable. I won't say more valuable, but at least equally as valuable as those outside guys for a multitude of different reasons. So Kenny Moore, for me, is invaluable for this Colts team. That defense wouldn't be anything without Kenny Moore. He is such a vital piece of this team, but we're at a point where, Kenny Moore, he signed his deal again, $8.325 million a year. And you look at some of the guys getting paid more than he is. He's the 21st highest paid corner in the league right now. Right above him, Sauce Gardner. And as we keep going up, Jeff Okudah, Derek Stingley Jr. These guys are guys that are on their rookie deal making more money than Kenny Moore. So Kenny has to make more money. Right, you go beyond those guys on the rookie deal. You go up to Dante Jackson, which it jumps from $8.6 million to $11.7 million for Dante Jackson. Above him is James Bradbury, 12.6. Dory Jackson, $13 million. And a deal that I think is very likely for Kenny Morgan with his age, where he's at, but everything that he does. Charvarius Ward signed a contract, 26 years old, signed a contract, 3 years, $40.5 million. That's $13.5 million a year. And I think that's a deal that we could see Kenny sign with his age, where he's at in his career, but everything that he does. I think 13.5 to $14.5 million mark is a good place for Kenny. And if that sounds like a lot going forward, don't forget we have Anthony Richardson on his rookie deal, right? And when you look at dead money next year, we have over $28 million in dead money this year. Just money that we couldn't even use if we wanted to from the salary cap. Next year, going into next season, it's $363,623 in dead money. And even with Jonathan Taylor's deal on the books, there's an estimated $77.161 million in cap space that we'll have going into next season. Right. And something else we're going to talk about this week is guys that we might trade to get them off the books for next season, be able to have more cap space to try to go at free agents next season, wide receivers, corners, whatever we might need. So we might end up with more cap space if things like that are going to happen, right? Or there are guys making a lot of money that are getting older that we might try to part ways with. So with $77 million, if you give Kenny 13.5, 14.5, even $15 million a year, for the next 3 seasons while you have Anthony Richardson on his rookie deal, I think, again, he's invaluable to that defense. I think he's invaluable to this team, the way everybody loves him, the way the fans love him. I think this is a guy like guaranteed you have to pay this guy. And I've already laid out the terms that I think it'll be, 3 years, $45 million max. I think, 3 years, $42 million is a good number for Kenny. But I'd like to know what you think. Should we pay Kenny? And if you do think we should pay him, what do you think his contract should look like? How many years, how much money? You let me know down in the comment section. And again, we have a lot to talk about this week. So go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you have notifications on so you get notified when all these videos come out this week. I appreciate you stopping by for this video. And until next time, as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.